Good morning. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
All right, so today your teacher told me you've been reading Macbeth and that you're getting ready to write an essay where you're kind of analyzing what's going on in Macbeth. And so your teacher asked me to help with how to find out if a source is credible, because you're going to need sources when you write your paper. And there's a lot of information out there, some good information, some bad information. So your teacher asked me to kind of show you how to test a source to decide if it's credible, because we only want to use credible sources when we write a paper. And so today we're going to look at what is misinformation, how do I verify if it's misinformation, and I've got an easy test called the CRAAP test to tell you if information is crap, if it needs to be thrown out, flushed away in the toilet because it's no good. And it's just an acronym that makes it easy to remember how you can verify a source and see if it's something you want to use. Are you ready? All right, so let's talk about how this relates to Macbeth. Think about this. Macbeth goes to the witches, right? And the witches give him this prophecy, and they give him this information. They say, "All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter." That one little line leads to a whole lot of messes. Would you agree? Yeah. It was accurate. He becomes king, doesn't he? But that one quote led him down a path of complete destruction, all from some misinformation. If you think about it, Shakespeare's good at that. Romeo and Juliet, think back to your 9th grade years. Misinformation led to untimely deaths. Macbeth, misinformation leads to death after death after death, all because the witches told him, "You shall be king hereafter." And it just got everything rolling. So I want you to think about this. What if the witches were like online influencers spreading misinformation? You're getting on TikTok. Do you see influencers spreading misinformation? Do people repost it? And then those people repost it. And then people are like, "Did you see what that person said on TikTok?" Or then they share it on Instagram. Or then they share it on X, right? And then it just snowballs. Well, Shakespeare was way ahead of his times, because he was showing us that when we don't verify information, it can lead to a hot mess. And that's why we have the CRAAP test. And so that's what we're going to look at, is how do we verify information using the CRAAP test so that we are not spreaders of misinformation. Make sense? All right. So let's go to the next slide. And let's talk about what the CRAAP test is. So I'm going to show you this little short video, just 2 minutes, to kind of explain what, I can't see without my glasses, people, sorry.
Not sure how to identify
Hold
following
on.
information. Your assignment.
Oh, love technology. There's my full screen. Volume.
Not sure how to identify following information for your assignment? Via a journal article, website, or blog. Put your information through the CRAAP test to identify the currency, relevance, authority, accuracy and purpose of your sources. Currency. When was the information published, updated or revised? Is it out of date or too old for the project? Relevance. Is the information related to your research topic? Is it an in-depth examination or a quick summary? Who's the intended audience? The general public, a student, researcher or industry? Is the level of information too basic or advanced? Authority. Consider who wrote or published the information. Can you identify the author? Are they an expert in their field? What else have they written on the topic? Can you verify the author's credentials or the organisation they represent? Accuracy. Is the information reliable and correct? Can you verify claims in the information in other sources? Is there a reference list citing their supporting evidence? Do they outline the methods and data used in their analysis? Purpose. Is the intention of the information to entertain, inform, educate, or perhaps sell an idea or product? Try out the CRAAP test to critically evaluate your sources. Need a little more help? Ask a librarian.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. Hold on 1 second. So, when we talk about the CRAAP test, I like the acronym because if it's not reliable, it's crap, right? So the C is currency, current, right? We think of current. So is the information up to date? Does it matter when it's published? So for example, we're gonna look up something on William Shakespeare. Does William Shakespeare have to stay current? Would it be necessarily that it had to be written in 2025? Why? Because, right, he's dead, right? So it may not be as current. We have to look at what the topic is. If I'm doing something on science, does it need to be current? Yes, because science is constantly changing, right? If I'm teaching the solar system, I don't want to use a book from 1980 because it's changed and changed again, right? So that's what current means. Does that make sense? Okay. R, relevance. How well does the information meet your needs? A lot of the times people will just go find a source because, say, it has William Shakespeare's name in it, but it may not be what you need, say, to write your essay on Macbeth. So make sure that it's relevant to the job you're trying to do. Authority, who's providing the information? Who wrote it? Is it just somebody's personal blog that they posted? Or is it an association that has like a strong reputation, that they only publish facts? Accuracy. How reliable or correct is the information? Because a lot of times if it's something personal, they may end up putting a little bias in that. So we have to make sure that it's accurate information. And then the last one, P, purpose. Why was it created? Just like when we're doing reading and we say, what's the author's purpose? Was it to inform, entertain, persuade? The same thing goes when I'm looking at a source. Because when I'm writing a paper, I need to understand that some sources are written as entertainment, but some sources are written to inform. And so if I'm writing a literary analysis essay, I'm going to want something that is informative. Does that make sense? So that is the CRAAP test. So that's just remembering that acronym: currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. What we're going to do next is we're going to look at how to actually put this into practice. So I have a handout. If you go to the next slide, you'll kind of see a quick glimpse. I'm going to pass one of these out to you. It has two sides because we're going to do two of these. So what we're going to do is evaluate a source together, but before we do this, this is just a quick rating guide that we can use to decide if a source is reliable, credible. So if you look at this handout, let's just look. They take the CRAAP acronym and then they break it down into even more specific bullet points, which I really like. So if you look at currency, it says, when was it published or posted? Has it been revised or updated? Is it current or out of date for your topic? Remember we were talking about that? Are the links functional? That's a dead giveaway sometimes, because if the links aren't functional, that lets you know it hasn't been updated, right? It's kind of what I call a dead source. It hasn't been updated, so it may not be accurate. When we talk about relevance, some things to look at. Does it relate to your topic or answer your question? Who is the intended audience? Is the information at an appropriate level? You don't want to use information that's too advanced for you or your audience to understand. Also, on the opposite end, you don't want it to be too simple to support your topic. Have you looked at a variety of sources, or did you just click on the first one you saw? Would you be comfortable using this source for a research paper? That means, do you feel like this is good, academic, accurate information? Authority. Who's the author, publisher, source, or sponsor? You should be able to see that. Who put it out there? Are the author's credentials given? Because if they're not listed, that's probably a red flag. What are the author's qualifications? What makes them the person that should be writing about this topic and sharing information? Is there contact information, like a publisher or an email address? Where was it published? Is it like a journal, like a scholarly journal? Is it just a blog, which is more personal? Is it a newsletter? So look at where it was published. And then does the URL reveal anything? This is one of the first things you learn about sources. .com, .edu, .gov, .org, .net. We know that some are more reliable than others. All right. Accuracy. Where does the information come from? Is it supported by evidence? Has it been reviewed? Can you verify? Does the language seem biased? Or is it free of emotion? This is a big one. And then also, are there spelling, grammar, or other typographical errors? If there's a lot of errors on the source, it's probably not that reliable. And then the last one, purpose. We talked about this one. What is the purpose? Is it to inform, entertain, persuade? Do they make their intentions clear? Is the information fact, opinion, or propaganda? Are there political, cultural, religious, personal biases? Coming back to that bias, we've got to be able to look at it objectively. And then the way this rating is set up is you get 1 star if it's not fitting, 2, kind of in the middle, or 3, this is good. Okay, so the more 3 stars you get, the more reliable it is. Got it? All right, so let's start. If you click on this link, this is going to be the source we look at. We're going to pretend that we are doing a paper on William Shakespeare. I've got it pulled up here. So this is our website. This is the source I'm asking you to evaluate. So let's just kind of walk through some steps together. So the first thing we need to do, source, title, and other info for website, article, book, etc. So what is the title that we're using? I kept it pretty simple for you. What's the title of this one? William Shakespeare. So write that down. And then what is the website? The Kennedy Center. So we just jot that down at the top. Does everybody have something right? Here you go. There's one. And this one. All right. So we're just going to jot that information down at the top so that we have a focus. All right, so let's just do a quick rating. Don't overthink this. This is not supposed to be some long, drawn-out process, because if you have to take forever to evaluate every source, then you're never going to get your work done. So we just want to kind of do a quick run-through and get an idea. Okay, so first one, currency, the timeliness of the information. Let's look at the questions and kind of scroll through. Did everybody get the link to open? You're good? So everybody's on it? All right, so let's just kind of look through. And I'll tell you, a lot of the times, this kind of information can be found like towards the bottom. Oh, sorry. All right. So, what do you think about this, currency-wise? We have the copyright, right? And notice it goes all the way to 2025. Did everybody see that? So that one we can probably check off, right? Has it been revised or updated? Can we see that? Do you see anything that says updated and then give a date, or revised and given a date? No? You're right. No, it's not there. So we might kind of put an X by that one. Is the information current or out of date for your topic? Would this work for our topic if you're researching William Shakespeare? Yes, because it hasn't changed, right? So that's a check mark, all right? And then, are the links functional? So if I clicked on any of these links, are they functional? Yes. Okay, so real quick. 1 star would be old date and out of date info for topic. 2 stars, current date but old info for topic. Current date and current info for topic. What would you give it? 3. I'd give it a 3. The Kennedy Center is going to be a reliable source. I'm just telling you that. Also, which comes up later, kennedyscenter.org. That's always a star. Okay, look at the next one, relevance. Let's go quick. Relevance. Does it relate to your topic or answer your question? If we're researching William Shakespeare?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Intended audience. This way. Would it be for kids? Would it be for a high school student? Would that be okay? Would it be okay for an adult? So is this appropriate for a 12th grade paper?
Yes.
Yes. Put a check mark. And that one goes into that next one. Is the information at an appropriate level? Like when you read this, can you understand the basics?
Yes.
If I just scan through it? Yes. Now this one we didn't do because I gave you the source. It says, have you looked at a variety of sources? So kind of mark that one off. That would be if you were trying to find your own sources. I found this one for you. Would you be comfortable using this source for a research paper?
Yes.
Yes. So how many stars would you give this one?
3.
3. Good. All right. Authority. Who is the author, publisher, source, sponsor? So it is listed, right? All right, so put a check mark. Are the author's credentials or organizational affiliations given?
Yes.
Yes, put a check mark. What are the author's qualifications to write on the topic? Does it say anything about that? No, it does not say anything about that. So that one doesn't, we don't have that one. Is there contact information?
Yes.
Good deal. Where was this published? Do we know where it was published?
Online.
Online. And it is with the Kennedy Center? So yes, we're good there. Does the URL reveal anything?
Yes.
.org, right? So what stars would you give this one?
3.
3, good. All right, let's go through this one quickly. Where does we're going to accuracy. Where does the information come from? This one comes from the Kennedy Center, right? Is the information supported by evidence?
Yes.
Has the information been reviewed or referred? I don't see anything. You're never going to find something that marks all the boxes, okay? Does the language or tone seem biased or is it free of emotion? Yeah, very factual. Are there spelling, grammar, or other typographical errors? All right, how many stars would you give it? 3. And then last, what is the purpose of the information?
To
Inform. Do the authors or the sponsors make their intentions or purpose clear?
Yes.
Yes. Is the information fact, opinion, propaganda?
Fact.
Fact. Are there political, cultural, religious biases anywhere?
No.
No. So what would this rank on purpose? 3. So this was, and I chose a source to be able to go through the steps so you could see what a reliable source looks like. So how many stars did we end up giving this one?
15.
15. So would this be credible?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So good. So this is what you would do if you're checking a source and you're by yourself, right? So let's go back to this one. So when you think about it, do you think Macbeth checked his sources?
No.
I mean, I don't know about you, but 3 witches over a pot casting spells probably had a little misinformation. And so I'm just, trying to make that connection back to what Shakespeare was showing with Macbeth. So we lead to the death of King Duncan, right? We lead to the death of Banquo, his best friend. It just keeps going. All because these witches said, hey, you're gonna be king, man. And so he takes it upon himself with that misinformation to get rid of all the competition, right? All right, next step. Credible or not. So you're gonna work together to see if this that I've linked, it's an article about Macbeth, and pretend that we are getting ready to write your essay, your literary analysis on Macbeth. And you're gonna decide, is this a source that you could use for that paper? And so what I would like for you to do is kind of turn your group, together since we're a small class. And then I want you to talk your way through this. So if you would, make sure you've got your article pulled up. And if you flip your CRAAP test, there's a blank side. And then I just want you to kind of talk your way through these steps. Don't overthink it though. So who wants to take on the leadership role? I have a feeling I know who it's gonna be.
Okay.
You got this one. I'm gonna help too though. I don't want to persuade you on what you're gonna answer, but if you'll just kind of take the step, you don't have to read every one of them like I did. Everybody can kind of just go through and be like, yes, no, maybe, and then decide on a ranking. Okay? All right, so are y'all ready? All right, first step.
2018. So it's Shakespeare. It has not been updated.
I think it's still current,
Yeah,
because he's
because
talking about,
Shakespeare's old.
yeah.
And the links are functional on it. How many stars have we given? Austin, how many stars did you give it?
I would give it
Let's put on the spot.
2 or 3 out of that.
It does relate to our topic, because it's talking about that.
All right, going to R, relevance.
Yes.
All right, here we go, relevance.
I think it's intended for like high school.
I think it is at an appropriate level for you. We can't do that. I would not be comfortable.
I would do
I
that.
would not be comfortable. I give it, how many stars do you guys give?
I'd give it 2.
I'd give it 2. That's the wording. It's published by Dave. It's published by Dave. It doesn't say anything about his credentials, it just says he
So-
reads a lot of books.
Yeah, he's reviewed over 6. Yeah. That's all.
He doesn't say anything about his qualifications, he just says he reads a lot of books.
He does have his email list and
And it's a blog, like a personal blog.
and it has .com there.
I would give it a 1 star.
Yeah, and why do you lean more towards one on a blog?
Because
Because
it's like
it's
your personal
biased.
opinions.
Yeah, exactly. So there's gonna be more opinions, right? Even though there could still be some good information, there's gonna be a lot of
Very
opinions.
biased.
Yes, very biased, good.
The information comes from Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
He doesn't have any sources listed.
It's not really supported by evidence, he just said it's the best play ever. I don't think it's been reviewed.
there's grammar errors too. Yeah. He like puts a period in the middle of it.
You should have used AI.
Yeah. So I would give it a 1 star.
But you think about it, when was it published?
2018.
So people didn't use AI as much to correct things.
I think the purpose is to
I would say
entertain or persuade, because he's trying to like talk about it's the very best play ever written. I think he does make his intentions clear.
But I think he uses opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely opinion. And there is personal biases.
Yeah.
I would give it 1 star. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He got 8 stars. I would not use it.
All right. So, do you see kind of how you walk yourself through the steps to decide if it's, doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's not reliable. It's not something that's credible that you would want to put in your essay when you're doing a literary analysis that's purpose is to inform, right? Does that make sense? So, and the more you do this, the easier it gets, and then you'll automatically start walking through those steps and you start looking for those things, and then you start to realize, oh, this is not something I should use, or oh, this is not something I should repost. Because we could even do that on, we're having our brain rot moments where we're sitting in our room having, hey, I need a break, so I'm scrolling through TikTok, right? And then I'm like, oh, repost, no, don't repost that one because that's biased, or that's opinion, or that's actually misinformation. It happens a lot. And then it leads to confusion, because if you're like Macbeth, you believe the misinformation, right? And then you start making choices based on that misinformation. And that's what we're looking at when we're trying to decide if something is credible or not. So, how could belief in unreliable information affect decisions? And that's what I was kind of talking about with Macbeth. But think about it personally, with people adults, students, classmates, friends. How could belief in unreliable information affect your decisions?
It could make you act a certain way towards someone if, for instance, if Miley's told me that Jenna had said something, but she didn't, then.
That's a very realistic example, because it happens all the time. So-and-so said so-and-so did this. Now my feelings are hurt. Now I'm gonna say something based on what somebody told me, and it could just all be a misunderstanding, or it could just be flat out misinformation. Not true, right? Think of modern day examples. And I don't want to influence you, but I want you to think about social media. What is happening in the world you live in right now where you would say misinformation is shared and reshared constantly?
I think a lot of stuff with the government is shared with misinformation.
Absolutely. No matter what your opinions and thoughts are, we still don't want to share misinformation, right? And when it comes to government and politics, I don't know about y'all, but I'm an adult. And I get confused because I see something, I'm like, there's no way, and I'm like, stop, maybe you don't even know if that's true, right? So it's very easy to be overwhelmed and confused, and then some people even get angry over something, and it may not even be true information. And so I think that's something that leads to that snowball effect, right? Where it gets worse and people get angry, and then people start shouting at each other, and then we get mad, and then it just keeps going. Do we see that with Macbeth? Absolutely. Hot mess. And it all could have been avoided if he had been like, hey, these witches probably don't know exactly what they're talking about. Agreed? All right, good deal. So let's wrap this up. This is the last little piece. I'm going to have you do an exit ticket. It's just one sentence, so don't panic. You don't have to write a whole bunch. There you go. All right, so here's my exit ticket. Why is it important to evaluate information before believing, or more importantly, sharing it? So why is it important to evaluate information before believing or sharing it? And I just want one sentence that kind of expresses your thoughts. As you finish those up, just in closing, the lesson is use the CRAAP test so that you don't become Macbeth. Make sense? All right, so hopefully you got something from this lesson that you can take, maybe even share with some adults you know or some classmates and say, hey, you need to do the CRAAP test before you start spouting this or sharing it on your social media post, right? All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take this. Take those. Thank you, thank you, thank you.